So Dan, tell me, let's talk about how we got into biking and what bikes we started on and how we found them.
Okay. My first bike was a bike I made, a motorbike, from a an old mountain bike, and I bought one of those shitty
Oh,
Chinese kits that like 70cc kits that I enjoyed making, and it was really fast. I didn't have my bike license then, and I rode it into a fence at about 30 miles an hour
why did you do that?
because it was foggy, and I probably shouldn't have been riding for various reasons. I had it was a housewarming party,
Okay.
and yeah. So that
How old were you?
I was probably 30 then, but is that my headband? But I always wanted to have a motorbike, but I had cars for years, loads of different cars, BMWs, Alfa Romeos, and Land Rovers mainly. But bikes were always something I wanted to get into. But my first proper bike was a moped, a Dutch moped called a Batavus, which had pedals, and I went everywhere on that. It was so cool, and I stripped it down. Like it taught me how basic motorbikes worked, with brakes and stuff, and really basic motorbikes. Um, and then then I finally decided mid-30s to actually do my a was it A1 or A2 or something, the the proper test.
Yeah, no, all of that happened long after I
Yeah,
started motorbiking.
but it was the hardest 2 weeks of my life. It was so intense, and I learned so much, and it's improved my car driving, everything.
So, what were the bikes that you got after you passed your test?
So the first one I got was a Moto Guzzi V50. I thought, I'd start off sensible, smallish bike, 500cc. Always loved the sound and look of a Guzzi, but I found it was just a bit too small for me, sadly, on a trip up to Bristol and back, and I was too cramped. But it rode beautifully. It was a gorgeous bike. Um, and then I got that K75.
The red one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that we saw in that initial video.
which to me is the first sort of bike that really suited me, and it wasn't loud. It isn't loud. It isn't brash. It's really untrendy because it's old fashioned, really.
And that was 1990, right?
1990
Yeah.
bike, yeah. And I took that down to south of France after probably a year after I bought it, all the way down. Amazing ride down there. Wore out a pair of tyres in 2,500 miles because I didn't really know much about bikes, and I didn't really keep an eye on the bloody tyre pressures. So I was on the auto routes most of the way, stupidly, fully loaded up, and the roads were probably mid-40s temperature.
Yeah,
and they were melting literally. And I got back up to change them.
So you changed to the blue BMW, the R100RS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what made you decide to change?
I wanted the noise. I wanted like a proper noisy, kind of real to my mind at that point bike that I could really feel, the visceral feeling of it, the loud kind of like, and the torque. I wanted the K75 was a lovely bike. It is torquey, but not compared to a twin. And
But it's a triple, right, on the
K75, yeah.
Yeah. That's unusual for BMW, isn't it?
It's a very rare, weird engine configuration because the engine's lying on its side with the crankshaft on one end and the cylinder head on the other. And if you look at it from the front, it's all a bit asymmetrical. It doesn't look right, but it's perfectly balanced. And the weight is low. Everyone says it's based on an old Peugeot engine, which is not. It was just used as a mock-up to see if it would work. But the engine, incredible. It's just, in that video the other day, I mean, it's just, you can even after 120,000 miles, that bike is. I've done I've adjusted the valves, but nothing really, and it's still so smooth and reliable. It's just incredible.
But on the R100 that you recently taken on with carburetors that you need to work on and balance, but you took that through France last year, didn't you? How did that compare to the K75?
It feels much quicker, even though it's probably not actually, but it feels quicker because it's got so much more torque. So it's just you're pulling away so much more easily and lower in higher gears. It's a bike of its period, and I really enjoyed it. And
because that's 1980s, isn't it?
81.
81. Wow.
First came out in 77.
It's over 40 years old now.
Yeah. But yeah, I had all my kit on that. I rode down through Bordeaux and eventually down to Spain. Went into Barcelona for a day, too busy and hot, and then darted back up into the mountains and went into Catalonia and yeah, it was nice and cool up there. It was 40 something degrees in Barcelona. It was just too hot, but I just wanted to do it, because I was there. I thought, well, bugger it, I was just gonna.
But no real problems on that journey with that 45-year-old motorcycle.
Not at all. No. The only issue was a slight weep from the rear brake cylinder, which was fine. I just topped it up every day or two, just to make sure it didn't drop below the max level.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you saw a sort of bike specific camping tent that fitted onto the bike? A wingman, is that what it's called?
The Goose wingman on the road, yeah. It's great, but it's very heavy. But it's not as heavy as a pillion, I suppose. And that's why I kept kind of reminding myself that it wasn't that heavy, but it's nice that you don't have to peg it out. You can camp on the side of the road, or somewhere quiet, or in a motorway car park, which I didn't actually do because I just didn't really feel particularly comfortable doing that. But yeah, and it's completely dark inside. That's a great thing. It's totally waterproof. But it's quite small for the size of it. But the mattress and the sleeping bag is all in one, so it's
most tents that you take on motorcycle camping are going to be pretty small though anyway, aren't
they? Yeah. Well, yeah, but I the benefit is that you can literally put it up in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Once you get practiced,
huge advantage.
You just unclip the clips and just roll it out, and
there's
that's
sort
really
of a
nice.
Sleeping mat plus a sleeping bag included in that.
Yeah, a thin sleeping bag and a thin mat. I put an extra like blow up, one of those sort of blow up inflatable mattresses in there, which made it really very comfortable then. And I think I might have taken a blanket with me as well, because in the mountains in the Pyrenees it got a bit chilly. But I just wore my clothes as well. So, but if it was cold, but yeah, I mean, I'd probably take it again. But then I wouldn't be able to have a pillion. Definitely not.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a lot of weight to try and
and space,
unless you've got a much larger motorcycle.
And space. But on the RS BMW, I didn't feel the weight at all. It's such the weight of the engine so low down. It's just it feels such a light bike even loaded up. So you can be whipping through hairpin bends and you just don't even know it's all there. And with the torque of that engine, it's just incredible.
I've seen you riding it, and when you parked it, quite often people come up out of interest and want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
They've either had some experience themselves with a motorcycle, or it's something which they've admired from a distance for years?
It's a very pretty bike. It certainly attracts people, doesn't it? It's quite chromy, and the paintwork, original paintwork, is pretty good.
I suppose it's one of those iconic touring bikes.
Yeah.
From that period.
Well, it's the first sports tourer, unarguably, I think, first sports tourer. That came along. With the fairing and so on, the designed in the wind tunnel. Yeah, it's great. But I'm going to probably sell it, I think.
Are you? And what are the reasons, and what are you looking at getting?
I've forgotten how much an older bike takes to maintain. The K75, all I did was change the oil, tyres occasionally, and it was just, you just start it and it goes. You can leave it for months and months on end and it always starts. It's an incredible bike, and it's just such a machine. And that's what, and I really miss that that easy kind of getting on but it's like a modern bike, I suppose, but probably almost better, because it hasn't got all the extra bits of electronics and stuff that can go wrong. I mean, it does have ABS, which doesn't work, but it's and it's more fuel efficient. It's probably a bit faster if you rev it, and I don't know. You feel a bit, when you're on it, you kind of feel that everyone's kind of looking at you all the time, and sometimes
like Percy, isn't it?
you want to be a bit incognito, and kind of just ride and enjoy, and because the amount of people that come up and talk to you, which is lovely. Sometimes you're just kind of not in the mood. You just want to kind of get on with your stuff and enjoy what you're doing, which is just have a bit of me time, bit of on your own and thinking time, and a bit of headspace, which you don't get on a flashy bike like yours.
No. Well, we'll come on to that. We'll come on to my bikes in a moment.
Your big black shiny beast.
Yeah, well, it absolutely is.
Big black shiny jacket.